Michael Jaafar, she is adamant about her mother being the one with the child, and she seems like she has some character flaw issues that she can use of her mother's, that her mother is aloof. She can't be reached on the phone. Police have been trying to find her, and we know eventually her mother is going to be arrested for aggravated burglary, but nothing in connection to the death of baby Evelyn. Your thoughts on that line of statements from this defendant?
A couple of things. So first of all, we already knew that the jury would see that she had lied to cover up this murder. We knew that. But what this video does, what it shows, is that she was actually very cavalier with the lies, and she was not distraught. She was not crying. She was not breaking down. Because at the end of the day, her defense are going to have to come up and defend her character, right? They're going to not defend her character. They're going to have to say why she has these character flaws. And so I said at the beginning of this case, what I think the defense is going to need is actually an expert to testify as to the cognitive ability of somebody who grows up in foster care, who has absolutely the worst parental situation, right? You just said it about her mom, and then obviously about her dad, and she grew up in foster care. She had this baby when she was 17. A character expert is going to have to come up and say, people who make a mistake like her never feel that they are adequate enough to do anything, and everything is going to be on them. And so this is why they lie. I know that expert is going to be needed, but the problem with this video that we just saw is that she is not distraught when she's lying. She's like staying on brand, and she's being very cavalier, and she's blaming it on her mom. So that's why this video is so devastating for the defense, because we already knew that she is going to be accused of that. She did lie about the missing of her, baby Evelyn. We know that. But we didn't know how she lied. We didn't know her physical demeanor. We didn't know how she emoted, right? Now we know how she emoted. She was, laughing. She was being cavalier. So that's why I think this is going to be a devastating thing. It's always the lie that gets you, the cover-up that gets you. It's not necessarily always the initial crime, right? Because her defense attorney is going to say it was an unintentional killing. She rolled over the kid, or we don't know how the kid died. But this actually, she knew that the kid was dead, and she was throwing investigators into a loop. So I just don't like that video from that sense. It's her body language that bothers me.
No, from the defense perspective, it is quite damaging. And you heard her father begging her, telling her the exact situation, Michael Jaafar, that if you just come clean and say it's an accident now, it's going to be so much easier for you. They're going to throw the book at you if you have to go in front of a judge, and here we are. Before we get to that break, let's bring in trial attorneys Michael Jaafar. Michael, let me start with you. I did write down when I heard Megan talking about Evelyn say that she loved that child. It sounded like she said loved in the past tense, but right now she's telling police that Evelyn is still alive with her mother. They just can't get a hold of her mother.
I absolutely, after seeing that video, realize now that Megan Boswell is going to have to testify. She fails every test that defense attorneys have when they decide whether or not to put their client on the stand. She fails every test. She has no choice but to testify. I'll tell you why. That video, you can see the shock in my voice, right? Because I've been watching this case. I did not see that video that you're showing right now of her crying. That's the person I thought that was going to be on trial.
That's in 5 days.
Not the person that we're seeing.
5 days later.
Exactly. But the jury now is going to be tainted with the video of somebody who's cold and calculating, talking about dispassionately the disappearance of her daughter. I want the jury to see her crying. I know that the state are going to gut her, but that's actually good for your case, as good as it could be, right? You want your client to be the underdog in front of the jury. Let the jury see her cry on the stand. We already know she lied. The jury already knows she lied. So it's not like they're going to expose her as a liar on cross-examination. We already know she's a liar. But what we want to see is her cry to be the underdog. We don't want her to be sitting in the courtroom mute with this grotesque fact pattern. She has to take the stand. There's no choice. I think they should have waived the jury. I've maintained that. But now that you have a jury of 12 human beings, these human beings are going to gravitate towards inflammatory things. They're leaving that video right there with the theme that she's cold calculating, she killed her daughter, and she hid it. She's got to take the stand. She's got to cry. She's got to be gutted. She's got to walk the plank in order to have any shot with this jury feeling at all. The jury has to feel sorry for her to lesser her charges from the 20, murder and this. They have to feel sorry for her.